The normal state of mind of most human beings contains a strong element of what we might call dysfunction or even madness.
And that dysfunction is the ego. You could even watch the news and see that dysfunction in action out in society. I feel like being in society at times can be like walking on eggshells because you never know how other people can misinterpret things, what they take personally, or what they get offended by. So it's like being out in society is about managing other people's egos as well as our own, because we also have our own triggers about what other people say and do, even though we have, good intentions not to, but sometimes the ego wins. And so I think it's really important, that we really reflect within ourselves about how our ego acts and how it gets triggered. Right now, I am in my hermit phase, but it took me a long time to get to this point where I had to give myself permission to deliberately disconnect. And so what I mean by that is I rarely use social media. I had to really, take the courage to socialize less and to prioritize my alone time because that's really important to me. I think the challenging part about that, of socializing less, is having to, explain that to other people or to clear up the air so that they don't take it personally either, that, it has nothing to do with them, but me just needing more alone time. And so I feel like it took me a long time to get here because I really didn't have the courage to speak up about it and to, make it a priority in my life. And I've always been a homebody, but I think it's even more so important now than ever. If you also feel that, you want to pull away and kind of go inward as well, I think you really need to give yourself permission to do that. And I say give yourself permission because it really does come down to it being your responsibility, no one else's. I think what I learned for me personally is that I was kind of waiting around for other people to give me permission and to, kind of give out signals that I wanted to pull back, but no one else was going to do that for me because, it's not their responsibility. And how did they know that I needed that, and I just had to, because it's so scary to take that step to really build the courage to do that. I think that's why it took me so long, but I really need it in my life. And so I think that if you need it as well, definitely you need to give yourself permission. No one else will do that for you. So I really think it's important to self-reflect and to get to know our egos a bit better. Also, too, when you start to bring more awareness to that, to your ego, you start to be able to make true choice of whether or not you want to change that behavior or not, or, if you want to even reflect on what's causing you to think that way and all that. So I think it's super important to do that because then we don't add to the dysfunction, add to the madness. We basically can take responsibility for ourselves. So if we want more calm, more peace in our life, we need to do that ourselves. So it's really important as well to shut out all the noise because that can influence you. It influenced me. I think it influenced a lot of us. And so it's better that we kind of get connected with our true voice. And the best way to do that is to self-reflect. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.